Fantastic.
Hello, hello.
Perfect. We got it work. I mean, you know how it goes, right? I mean, you can't have a show without some technical difficulties here and there, right?
Of course, yeah.
I love it. I love it. So, Sydney, how are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good as well. Thank you so much for asking me. What better way to have an epic Wednesday with someone that's epic? You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Totally. How was your day? How was your day treating you?
It's doing good. I had a photo shoot earlier today, and now I'm doing this, which I'm very excited about both. So.
I love it. How's like the whole weather treating you as well? Pretty warm, right?
It's way too warm. It's like 90 degrees out today, and I'm not feeling it anymore.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, there was a time that you could sleep with, you will open the window and you will be fine. And now even if you open the window, you put a fan on, but the fan will just get hot air. So yes, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's not great. I'm looking forward. It's supposed to get a little cooler this weekend. I'm really looking forward to it. I could be outside without feeling like I'm gonna die or like boil over.
yeah, I know what you mean. So welcome to the show. As I said, it is so cool and amazing and epic to have you here. And jumping right straight to the interview right now. Tell me how your passion for acting started.
It has always kind of been there. I started doing stuff when I was really young. I was in theater a lot when I was younger. My first show, I played an elephant in a circus, so you know. I always loved it. I did a lot of things when I was younger. I tried a lot of different things, a lot of different hobbies, sports and stuff like that. And this was the only thing that ever really stuck and was the only the thing I wanted to continue doing. Yeah. And so I feel like that kind of says something. If it's the only thing that you really love doing, you've got to pursue that in any way you can. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. I know what you mean. And it is really interesting that it only takes one thing, 1 second to wanted to do something for the rest of your life, like a career or something like that. So
yeah,
it is so cool whenever you will find that something, and once you find it, you're like, I want to do this for the rest of my life.
Yeah, it really was. That kind of came for me in high school, and I was like, wow, this is something that I could actually see myself doing as a job. And then I was like, oh, you can make this a job. And so I was like, well, now it's my job. So
that's so cool. That is so cool. And what were some of the challenges that you had when you were, recently making your first acting steps?
When I really started taking it seriously, and it wasn't just kind of a fun hobby, and it was something I really wanted to do, it was hard just to kind of get into it. Like I said, I came from a theater background, and so that transition from being in the theater world to the film acting world, the acting styles are just completely different. You know what I mean? And just training and making sure that I fit into the new style, and I wasn't overacting or trying to fill a space when the camera was right in my face, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was a little hard. And then just finding work, I didn't know how to do this. It wasn't something that I had family that was in the business, and so I wasn't aware of how to get an agent and all that stuff. So it was stuff I had to figure out on my own, but it's really fun, and I feel now I'm gaining speed, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. And now that you mentioned your theater performances, so you were in Sense and Sensibility, Men on Boats, The Trial, I mean, the list goes on. But tell me, do you have what is the number one thing that you always do before going on stage? Do you have a so-called ritual, or something you always do, to kind of set your mind to?
Before I go on stage, I mean, I guess it really depends on the role and the space, but I mean, I always have to just kind of take a moment to be in the character's brain and where they're supposed to be. And if I don't do that, I feel I'm just not as connected with the rest of the show, no matter what I try to do. So definitely just taking a second and being with myself before I have to go on stage. I need to go away for a second and then I'll come back. I promise. But that just warming up and making sure I'm ready to be in the space, it's always good to do.
Yeah. And I find it so interesting that with all of the actors that I've interviewed, everyone has their own thing, and some of them, some of them are pretty cool. Some of them are kind of hilarious, and some of them are just they would say, I just go and ready to go,
No, I know somebody that had to do 50 push-ups before every show, and I was like, well, your arms must be great, but I could never.
Yeah, that is so cool. And And now that you also mentioned, like depending on the role, tell me like how you usually prepare a character. Now, of course, I understand that depends on the role. I mean, always. But what usually or what sets your mind into this journey of creating someone, basically?
I definitely, I think that like one of the main things I try to think of is like obviously getting into the mind of the character is like one of the most important things. But like I also try to think of the perception of the character from other people, especially in like the thing, because like whether it's a villain, they may think they're doing everything that's right, but everyone around them definitely doesn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just like seeing how like the audience and like other people are supposed to feel about this character kind of makes you come to terms with the fact of like, who do I need to be to move this production forward? You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And what are some of the things that you like the most when you were in this process of character creation?
Exploring, really. I love just like, whether it be in a rehearsal space or like on set, I love just like working with like the director and just trying to figure out what we want to do together.
Yeah.
I love just like experimenting, you know what I mean? Like it's okay to try something, and if you mess up and they don't like it, they'll tell you, you know? So
yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Making a decision is way better than not making a decision.
Yeah, and I think also it's kind of therapeutic at the same time, right? The fact that you can, kind of put yourself away for a second so you can be like somebody else for a while. I think at the same time it gives like a sense of fresh air, like something like I can relax myself for a bit and just lock myself inside, and I'll be right back.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I made a career out of playing pretend, if you really think about it. And when we were young, you played pretend and you just like did things. And you didn't ask yourself if they were wrong or right. You were like, okay, I'm just gonna do this, and either my friends are gonna laugh or we're just gonna move on. And that's how you should think about it. You know what I mean? Like taking chances is what makes good acting.
Yeah, absolutely. And like moving on here, you were also in Pink Laundry, 27, American Underdog. Again, the list goes on and on. But tell me, on your experience at the moment, what do you think is important for storytelling?
I think that the most important part of storytelling is making sure that like, I don't know how else to describe this, like making sure you have a story to tell, like making sure you have something to say. I think a lot of short films and movies get made, and they get made and they like make a lot of money and they do great, but if you don't like have something to say, like what's the point? I think there's a lot of stories to be told, but just making sure you're conscious about what the messages you're trying to get across is important. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And and we can see it sometimes, even with films, that like there's sometimes these blockbuster films, amazing ones, that you will remember for the rest of your life because the story was epic. And sometimes also those epic blockbuster films, but the story was and eventually you forget about the characters and you forget about everything. I mean, it is so interesting that even till this day, I mean, new generations will know references about The Godfather or Scarface or Back to the Future, like films like that they were like way before their time, and we can see now that like kids between 15, 16, they know references about those films. So I think when you manage to do that, that's I would assume that is like when you manage to deliver an epic storytelling.
Yeah, if you can make your storytelling transcend time, it literally becomes immortal, and like it becomes relatable to generations and generations. And so making a conscious effort on trying to figure out what you're trying to do, I think is important.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think also that as an actor must feel super cool, the fact that even though that your film is done, there's still new people discovering it and loving it, and still like refreshing on that, and it's like a new experience basically.
Absolutely. And like working on these indie films that I've like gotten a chance to work on recently has really like inspired me myself to be like, okay, I want to seek out stories. So like what I've been doing recently is seeking out stories of people that are writing in my area and trying to make films out of them. So I'm making my own films now. And so I get to be conscious and aware about what stories I want to tell and what I want to put my name behind. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And it is so interesting also about the short films that I mean, when before starting this, I didn't watch like any, you know, like before Chat with Dan, I didn't watch like any short film, you know, or like indie film things like that. And when I start with the show and I start to, you know, watch those films, it is so cool because some of them are amazingly well, and of course every now and then you will come to something that you're like, you know, but that's totally fine. I mean, that happens even, you know, as we were saying before with the big films, let's say. Yeah. So I find it very interesting that for short films or indie films, the fact that they don't have, you know, like this huge amount of budget, they can still manage to deliver a good storytelling and a good film, you know.
Yeah, amazing films, some of them.
Totally. And like, what do you like the most about acting? And at the same time, what advice could you give to those who, you know, are recently starting in the acting business?
Yeah, I think what I like the most about acting is like being in the moment with another person. When I have scenes with another person, it's always fantastic because I feel like I can do my best work because I can interact with somebody. But I also, I mean, I don't know, advice that I would give somebody, like I said earlier, just like don't be afraid to fail. Failure is a part of life, especially in acting. You're gonna get a million no's before a yes, you know what I mean? But like, not being afraid to fail is gonna push you to succeed because you're going to want to take chances, and taking chances is everything in this business. I mean, you never know what something's gonna lead to, and so like always being kind, always being courteous, and always taking a chance is the answer. You know what I mean?
Totally. Wow. Yeah, I do agree on that. I think at the end also, I mean, you just as you said, I mean, you need to just let go. I mean, I have discovered that sometimes, you know, like those things that make you nervous or those things that you're kind of scared to do it are like the thing that you need to do like ASAP, you know?
Yes, being bold is the answer. I mean, trust me, you're coming from one of the most anxious people on the planet. Me. But like, if I sit there and I say, this is going to scare me, is probably the answer a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be sitting there and I'm like, oh, they may not like this choice. And you know what? If they don't like it, they'll tell me and we'll move on. They're not going to, more than likely, fire me for it. They've already picked me for the job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I do think that. I mean, otherwise, if you stick with the no, you know, like the what if or I shouldn't, or like the other day, someone was telling me that even sometimes you will disappoint people that, I mean, you will disappoint, let's say, people like really close to you, but in order to follow your dreams, it's a prize. I mean, it's a prize that you need to take.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm lucky to be supported by people around me that like absolutely love what I'm doing. But yeah, no, you've got to take chances. You got to follow your own dreams. And if you don't, like, what else are you gonna do? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. And now, if you had to describe a movie in which all of the characters you have played at the moment will gather for a party, tell me, like, what would be the name of that film?
Oh God. Okay. Well, it's really weird because like a lot of my characters are either like really talkative, kind of like me, like very like me as a person, or like in the middle of having the worst moment of their life. So, or literally in hell in some cases. I don't know. I'd say, I would call it a small mental breakdown in hell or something like that. Like,
right?
Something where you go, this is a lot to handle. It's like overstimulation, the movie.
Okay. Now, if you had to choose one of your characters to be your roommate, which one would you choose?
Oh, okay. If it had to be, okay, of all the characters I've ever played.
All the characters, yeah, since they won, basically.
Okay, actually, we talked about this. In the show Men on Boats, I played this character named Bradley, and he was a fantastic character, and he was just this guy that was really eager, just like wanting to do everything, and it seemed like the best person to be a roommate with. They seemed like the person that would be like really nice about asking you to clean the dishes.
Okay, okay, I'll take that. Now, if you had to describe your career, your whole career, on a movie, TV show, book, play, even a musical, what would be the title of your career as right now?
Ooh, as a movie or TV show or stuff that's already out,
No, something new.
new. Oh, I was gonna say, but something already out, like I don't know, Two Broke Girls. But I don't know. I think it would just be coming soon or something like that. Like,
Okay.
because like I feel like I'm at the like when there's this like weird TikTok trend going around right now where it's like you feel like you're at the end of a season of a TV show and a new season's about to start, and I feel like that's where I am in my life, where I feel like a new season is about to start on my life, and that's really cool. So like in a way, it's like my TV show would be called Season 2 or something like that, something really meta.
Okay. What about describing your career, but on a drink or even a meal?
Ooh, a meal. Okay. If it was a drink, it would be probably a mojito.
Okay, that's good.
Refreshing, a little sneaky with the alcohol, a little sneaky.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And you know what? It's what I like the most when I go to a bar, which means and acting is also what I like the most. So that makes sense. But a meal, I would say like a breakfast platter. I got a little bit of everything going on right now. A little bit of bacon, a little bit of eggs, a little bit of pancakes, a little bit of fruit on the side.
Yeah. So you mean like those breakfasts when you were like on a buffet, right?
Yeah, like a buffet where you can get all of that on
yeah.
there. I feel like I'm doing a little bit of everything right now. I'm doing acting, I'm doing modeling, I'm doing some casting stuff. I want to be doing a little bit of everything right now. I feel like that's the move.
Okay, I like that. And like, what motivates you? You know, we all have those days in which we think that it's time for us to quit. You know, I mean, like getting inside into all of this thoughts is way too easy, right? And we all have them. But for you, on this case, what put your feet back on the ground so you can continue pursuing the thing that you love the most?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like, especially as actors, with us, literally our jobs being how we look and who we are, days can get really rough about like wanting to continue, and is this the right choice, and am I going to waste 10 years of my life? Like it can be really, really hard, and I definitely have those days. But I think what motivates me is, one, like, this is the only thing I can see myself doing, like, ever.
Yeah.
But also, like, I spent so much of my life not being happy, and moving forward, all I want to do is things that make me happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and this makes me so happy. I love doing this. Being on set is one of the most joyous experiences ever. Even if my character is sobbing for the next 25 minutes, I'm having fun and I'm really happy doing it. If I'm an extra on set and I don't even have a word, oh gosh, I get to see a movie star. That's happy. I'm having a good time. It just makes me so joyful to do it, and that's what motivates me more than anything. I want to be happy doing the thing that I'm going to continue doing, so why not choose something that's gonna make me happy forever?
Totally. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it can be tough whenever you get that feeling, but yeah, I think also that I mean, we should live our lives the way we want it, you know, regardless of how ridiculous some people might think or what we want in our lives. But at the end, it's our life, you know. And I hate whenever I will see someone wasting time in something. You know, I understand that you need to eat, you know, and sometimes you need to, you know, get a temporary job here and there to make it happen, and that's fine. But the thing is to make sure that that's just temporary in order to get something you really want, because otherwise, I mean, I have a lot of friends that got stuck between, and they continue just doing like this temporary job as a career now, and they all frustrated, you know, and like those type of things. I really hate when that happens. So.
Yeah, when the side gig becomes the main gig, that's a different story. You know what I mean? I want the side gigs to continue being the side gigs, and I want this to be my main thing that I'm doing for the rest of my life. I would love to, in the future, this be the only thing I have to do in my life, but we're not there right now. But ultimately, like, there are going to be days where I don't want to do this, because there's days when you don't want to do anything, and there's going to be days where I feel like I'm comparing myself, and I like am so bad, and I don't want to be in this business because I'm not good at it. But like, that's just me lying to myself. I am good at this. I'm worthy. And so like, this is what's going to make me happy moving forward. So I'm going to continue pursuing it until it doesn't. Hopefully it never does, but you know what I mean? Like,
I love it. Yeah, totally. Yeah. And like my last question here is, what can we expect from you in the future?
well, I did just say it feels like a new season is starting. I am looking to like relocate in the next couple of like months and stuff. So I'm looking at the coasts, seeing where I like fit in the markets. I'm looking for agents and stuff out there right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, the future, I mean, I really want to get my SAG eligibility very soon. I had a few opportunities come up recently, so hopefully cross your fingers. Yeah, like I said, my dream is kind of making this my main gig. The only thing I have to do with my life, because that's all I want to do with my life. I love doing other things, don't get me wrong, but like, this is what I want.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and you know, the fact that that you're making it happen, you know, the fact that you're actually doing it, and yeah, of course it takes time. I mean, everything takes time, but the fact that you're making it happen little by little and you're still persistent, that is super cool. And at the same time, it's kind of the living proof that you can do whatever you want, but it takes time.
Yeah, no, for sure. It takes time. I mean, not all of us are going to be Ashton Kutcher and get like one audition and then suddenly you're the star of that 70s show. You know what I mean? But like,
Oh, yeah.
It's worth it. I like doing it, and I'm willing to put in the time and effort. So yeah.
I love it. And I mean, I'm super sure that it's gonna happen. You know, I'm super sure that eventually we're gonna basically hear from you from everywhere. You know, from China to Prague to Berlin to everywhere. Because the fact that you're making it happen, yeah, that's gonna happen. You can hear me on that. That's gonna happen. I mean, when you get your Emmy and then an Oscar, then you know that you make it happen, and that is so cool. And as I said, the fact that you're honest to it, you know, the fact that you are doing it because you love it, and as simple as it may sound, you know, we all know. I mean, we all have a friend, family member that they just still haven't found the thing that they want to do, and time just goes on, and they just, you know, like all of that stuff, and the fact that you're making it happen and you're working hard. I mean, it's of course an obvious. Eventually, we're gonna see you everywhere, and who knows? Maybe at some point, even your own action figure. That would be cool.
That would be really fun. I'm not gonna lie. Hey, you know what? Listen, I'll thank you when I win my Oscar, right? You'll be the first person that interviewed me.
I love that. And also, I mean, yeah, keep doing what you do, keep killing it, keep being awesome. And also, I want to thank those who are watching this or not. Thank you so much for watching. If you are watching this either later here on Instagram or probably later on YouTube or listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and I think Google as well, and some other more, make sure to follow Sidney and all of her social media. Normally, what I would say is for you to go follow her. If you already do, fantastic. What we're gonna do now is that we're gonna go to her profile. We're gonna make her viral. #Team Sidney, because she's awesome. She's badass. And before I send you off, I need to send you off properly, you know, with an epic send-off. So if you have seen some more episodes before, you know exactly what it's about to happen. If not, then let me just show you.
I'm ready. Thank you.
I love it. And I mean, you deserve this and a lot more because you're super awesome and badass. And in the meantime, keep killing it. Have an epic upcoming weekend, and I'll see you in the next one.
All right, you have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.